Mr. Tweedle, would you please give us your full name and DOC number?
Stephen Tweedle, 450221.
Thank you. Mr. Tweedle, let me explain our process to you. First, I'm going to read some information into the record, and then we're going to conduct a parole interview with you. We'll then ask for the warden. We ask the warden for some comments. Then we'll allow those persons who indicated they wish to speak to speak. Currently, speaking on your behalf today is a friend, Malachi Ali, Mr. Kerry Myers with the Louisiana Parole Project, and your mother, Miss Catherine Tweedle. After we have our hearing, you'll have an opportunity to say whatever you'd like to say to the board, and then we'll vote. Do you understand our process, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right, this is the matter of Stephen A. Tweedle, DOC number 450221, date of birth 6/14 of 1979. He's first-class offender. He has parole eligibility date of June the 14th of 2024, an adjusted good time date of April the 2nd of 2031, and a full term date of April the 23rd of 2037. He is currently serving a 36-year sentence on the charges of 2 counts of armed robbery, and 1 count of conspiracy to commit armed robbery. Mr. Tweedle, does that information sound accurate to you?
Yes, sir, it does.
Your case has been assigned to Mr. Pete Freeman. Would you please answer any questions he might have?
Okay, Mr. Tweedle,
Sir.
how old are you?
I'm 44 years old, sir.
How old?
44.
Okay. And how long have you been in jail on this charge?
Almost 23 years, sir.
Okay, and what's your educational level?
I have obtained a GED in 2006.
Good. Tell me what was going on at that time in your life. Why did you all rob that store? And I mean, it was definitely a planned out robbery. So what was going on?
Well, after I exited the military in 2001, or in the year 2000, I was in the streets with no job, no direction, and no sense of responsibility. Running with the wrong crowds and partying, running through all my money. I ended up in a situation where myself and a few friends, or so-called friends, planned to commit a robbery in order to get some money, try to move away to another place. We ended up deciding to rob a finance company right there in Leesville, outside of Fort Polk. And we went in, had guns. We put the guns to the heads of the employees that were working there in order to get the money that they had. We obtained the money and we left. And I ended up getting caught later that day, which was April 25th, 2001.
Okay. Were you on drugs and alcohol at that time?
No, sir, I was not.
Have you ever been on drugs, alcohol?
No, sir, other than marijuana, recreationally smoking marijuana. No, sir.
And were you smoking marijuana?
That was 2 to 3 times a week.
Have you ever taken any classes with regards to marijuana?
Yes, I have. I've taken the addiction recovery class.
All right. The sentencing judge is opposed. Tony Bennett opposed as the first district attorney, Cynthia Lavisphere. Opposed is the sheriff, chief deputy Calvin Turner. Where are you going to live? Where are you going to work?
My first plan is going to the parole project to take advantage of their housing and employment transitional plans, and long-term would eventually be moving back to Detroit where my mother lives.
You know, you can't go to Detroit without permission of Louisiana, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, make sure if you make it today, you get with the parole project, Mr. Myers, and they can help you out with that.
Yes, sir.
You know, you got just one arrest on your record, period. That's the only arrest you've ever had. You were doing excellent in prison, and you got to the state police barracks. What happened at the state police barracks? You were there a long time before you got in trouble. What occurred?
In 2020, I was caught with a cell phone. I had become complacent, and I had lost, or I had a lack of discipline. And in being caught with the cell phone in 2020, I ended up being transferred to Elaine Hunt, where I am today. I lost 90 days of good time, and I lost my clemency recommendation, which was from 2016.
Yeah, well, let me ask you this. It was more than just a cell phone, wasn't it?
Yes, cell phone.
Tell me what was going on, everything.
Cell phone, and I had an unprofessional relationship with the employee in 2015.
How long did that relationship go on while you was at the barracks?
It started in 2013 and ended in 2015.
You know, the victims in this case, Ms. Jensen wants you to have no contact with her or her family. And she is opposed, and Charlotte Hood is also opposed. Looking at your classes, you've taken some good classes. What class you took that you got the most out of?
Anger management and victim impact.
Okay, what did you learn from victim impact?
Well, the first thing that I learned was that there are more victims than just the direct victims. There were family members of the victims. There were my family, there's community, and there's tertiary victims, which includes the economy and all the people that I've hurt and let down through my actions.
What clubs or organizations you belong to? Do you belong to any?
Yes, right now I am in the leadership of the Muslim community, faith-based community here at Hunt. I'm also involved with Toastmasters. I'm involved with the Alumni Association. And I was a member of the Veterans Program until I transferred to another job.
How long were you in the Army?
Say again?
How long were you in the Army?
4 years, sir.
4 years. Okay, so you finished and you were discharged honorably?
Other than honorably, general.
General discharge. What about the Tyro leadership? What did you get from that?
Well, the word tyro is a Greek word that represents leader. And one of the things that I've learned in tyro leadership is that I have to set a better example. And one of the things that I got out of the transition program, as well as the vets mentor programs here, I've learned that these young guys coming into prison need to see better examples so that they don't follow in the footsteps of people like I used to be. And out of Tyro, it teaches you to be more than selfish. It teaches you to be selfless and to help others before yourself and to treat others as you want to be treated. So those were the main highlights I took from it.
Okay, and you also did some youth mentoring.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Been trained in pretty much everything they'll allow you to get trained in. Ward, do you have any comments?
I don't have anything to add. Unless y'all have any questions.
Thank you, Warden.
I do want to state that you do have some very good letters of recommendation. And they were read in their entirety.
Mr. Roche, you have a question?
Yes, Mr. Tweedle. Let's get back to your disciplinary write-up of October 11th, 2020. You told us about the unprofessional relationship. You told us about the cell phone. I know why you got to 28 aggravated work offense, because you have an unprofessional relationship at work. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
So tell me what the 30N was for.
I don't know what that is. I never saw the write-up, but I'm not sure what that is.
On that particular day, you got a 30N, a 30W, a 30D, a 30Q, and a 30X. So you must have done something else. What was it?
What I'm saying is, I don't know what a 30N is, but I was at work with the employee and our relationship took place there at work. There were pictures in the phone when the phone was found of she and I guess that's what it's saying.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Roche. Now we'll hear from your supporters. Mr. Kerry Myers. Morning, Mr. Myers.
Good morning. Kerry Myers of Louisiana Parole Project. Mr. Tweedle came recommended to us from multiple sources, highly recommended. And after reviewing his records and meeting with him, interviewing him, I understand why. He is a first-time felony offender. As you noted, this was his only arrest. Obviously, he made a poor decision. His honesty and candidness in this interview is refreshing. He started his path, his trajectory upward, his rehabilitation long before he ever thought he had an opportunity for parole. Act 122 made him parole eligible. He didn't wait for Act 122 to begin the path that he was on. I think that he knows that his actions, I know that he regrets his actions, but he knows that his actions were completely out of character for him. You can look at not just his programming, but the programming that gives back to his community as a certified tutor in the transition program, working with the vets, with Toastmasters. He was an inmate counsel at one time. You look at the things that he does in the community, and you recognize that character. He will continue to do that. His parole eligibility date is June of 24. He will continue to do those things until his release. We believe that he's an excellent candidate for Parole Project. We know that after 22 and a half, almost 23 years by the time he gets released, that our services will benefit his transition. And we're prepared to provide him the services, not just the reentry services, but employment services through our employment enhancement program. We just believe he's an excellent candidate and ask his board to grant his parole today.
Thank you very much, Mr. Myers. We appreciate your comments. We'll now hear from your friend, Malachi Ali. You're on mute, ma'am. We can't hear you.
Good afternoon. Can you hear me now?
And we can, thank you.
Thank you. My name is Malika Ali. I am a licensed therapist, and I'm also a dear friend to Mr. Tweedle. I've had the privilege of knowing Mr. Tweedle for quite some time now. And in my time of knowing him, he has always maintained a positive and optimistic attitude. He exhibits good mental and emotional health. He's sincere about change, sincere about self-improvement, and he's very sincere about helping others. Mr. Tweedle has genuinely verbalized remorse for his past action. And I think it's important to note that not only has he verbalized remorse, but he demonstrates remorse based on the way he's chosen to utilize his time. He's a dedicated minister, he's a counselor, he's a teacher, he's a tutor, and he really does care. He cares about others. Those are not just titles. He actually is very effective within those roles, and he's had a profound impact. He has helped a lot of people. And based off of our interactions, he has always shown unwavering commitment to his own personal growth, to reforming himself, redemption. He's very passionate about those things. He's goal-oriented, and he has worked really, really hard. He's not the same person that he was decades ago when he made that mistake. It is evident to me and to others, I'm sure, that he has grown spiritually and mentally, and he is a beautiful person. He has utilized his time in the best way possible. And so I am immensely proud of him. He has a very supportive and loving family, and he has a host of friends that care about him deeply. So I know that he will be well supported. I myself, I'm very confident in his abilities to succeed. I know he's going to excel. I know he's going to do well. He's very well equipped for success. I believe he's ready, and we're all very proud of him. So I thank you so much for your time and your consideration.
Thank you very much, Ms. Ali. We appreciate your comments. Now we hear from Miss Catherine Tweedle, Mr. Tweedle's mother. Ms. Tweedle, how are you? You're on mute, ma'am. You need to unmute your microphone.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am, we can. Thank you.
I am the mother of Stephen Tweedle, and it's an honor, and it is also wonderful to see my son via Zoom. Stephen has been rehabilitated since he has been in prison. I watched my son grow from a young boy into a grown man. I miss my son. The community would benefit from the young man that my son has turned out to be. I will say, growing in prison, my son has been able to be rehabilitated. My son has a caring heart. I'm so sorry that the victims had to suffer, and I pray that one day that they will find it in their heart to forgive my son for his actions. Also, since being in prison, I've seen my son and I've heard my son speak from his heart and what he's doing to help others. He has turned his life completely around. I too am in the field of helping others, trying to help others, as well as help myself. I thank you all for allowing my son to grow. I thank you for allowing him the opportunity to educate himself. You all have also played a role in my son's life, the prison system, as far as giving him an opportunity to help others while he's helping himself there. I hope and pray that after this hearing that my son will be given the opportunity to be released. from the Louisiana prison system. I do believe my son will come out of prison and continue the work that he started on himself. Like I said before, he will be an awesome educator in our communities. And with that, I just thank you for this time to speak on behalf of my son, Stephen.
Thank you very much, ma'am. We do appreciate your comments. Mr.
Okay.
Tweedle, is there anything you'd like to say before the board votes?
Yes, I would first like to thank God for this opportunity, as well as y'all for allowing me this parole hearing. If I could speak to the victims, I would just apologize and let them know that I hope that they can eventually understand that I do apologize. It was poor choices, poor decisions made on my part, and I'm not that person today. I'm transformed. I've been through a few programs, and like I said earlier, there's nothing greater for me than anger management, which gave me a way to look at better choices, conflict resolution, ways to deal with problems, as well as victim impact, which again taught me that I can't do what I want to do without worrying about the impact that it has on others. And last but not least, to my mother and my friends and family, Malika and my mom, I love you.
Love you too, sir.
I apologize for the past. However, I promise you that from this point on out, you'll be proud of me. And I thank you all for this opportunity.
Thank you, Mr. Tweedle. We appreciate your comments. Panel ready to vote?
Yes.
Mr. Freeman?
Okay, Mr. Tweedle, it was a pleasure talking to you today. There's no doubt that you have the means, the support, and the education to make it on the outside. You did make the poor decision at the state police barracks, but that was your only write-up, just like this was your only charge. So my vote today is going to be to grant with a curfew of 9 p.m. to 6 a.m., no contact with victim, and after you're out for about 3 or 4 months, I would like for you to speak to at-risk youth. You know, tell them what you did, tell them how many years it cost you of your life, and the effects of it. So that's my vote. All right, that's good.
Thank you, Mr. Freeman. Mr. Roche?
Mr. Tweedle, it's been a pleasure. You had a great interview, and my vote is the same with the same conditions.
Thank you, Mr. Roche. Mr. Tweedle, I agree with my colleagues. You've got a wonderful support system. You've done well while you've been in prison. So your parole has been granted today. Good luck to you, sir.